Hello, this is Jared Stepp with Facebook.com/JaredSteppMusic and another edition of Backstage Pass. This is going to be my final edition before the CD release concert. I hope you enjoy it. This one's called My Rig Studio Tour. We're going to give you a tour of my little studio here, and I'm going to start a series of videos looking at my rig and each of the different pieces of equipment, doing some demos on these equipments, because I get a lot of questions about these things when I play, because I use some strange equipment and I use some other equipment that's been, I've gotten it pretty cheaply. So, but this I think should be interesting for everybody. Everything that was recorded in this room. Everything on that CD was recorded in this room, except for the song "Come to Me." Some of that stuff was recorded in Colorado. It was recorded on this equipment. And one of the first things that I knew I had to do when God told me to do this process, and one of the things that God laid in my heart while I was laying on the floor under the power of God, was to get a high-end studio mic. And my wife graciously agreed to get that. And this is a high-end studio mic. It's M-Audio Sputnik. Mid to high range, I should say. There are mics that I've sang on that cost 3 times as much, but I chose this one because from the reviews that I read up on it and from the frequency response charts that I looked at, it sweetened up the mid-range the best and would work best for my male vocal. I wasn't interested in anyone else's vocal because I knew that God wanted me to do all of it myself, and so I wanted my vocal to sound as good as it possibly could, and this was the mic that could deliver that sound. So I got it, and I got it. Came across it fairly cheaply. It is the highest end of the M-Audio line. If you know their products, they have great products for cheap prices. This one, however, is one of their most expensive products, and there's good reason for that. It's a very, very high quality mic. It looks kind of strange. It looks like space age. It's not look like a lot of these other mics, but this is kind of the key piece of this whole deal. It feeds into this box over here, which is its power supply, and with a 7-pin connector, and then comes into the regular box. Now, this box is what I've recorded everything through. This is the interface that connects it to the computer. It's called the M-Audio Mobile Pre. It's also M-Audio. Like I said, they make cheap stuff. And I got this and the Pro Tools program that I recorded everything on, at Pro Tools MP9, for $150. And then I was able to get, and this is not included in the package, but I was also able to get the vocal editing program called Melodyne, which is amazing. It's beautiful. There is no other vocal editing program that anyone should ever use in terms of pitch correct and that kind of thing. It's seamless. It's professional. It's what the pros use. And I was able to get all that for $150, which that's not normal, but praise the Lord for that. And I recorded it all through this computer that's down here. I'm sorry, I didn't record it all through that computer. There's another little laptop over here that I recorded most of the tracking through. I got to a point in my editing where I realized that I needed a better computer. I ended up having to buy this computer, and came across it really cheaply as well. But and I did a lot of my tracking through an Mbox Interface, which I sold on eBay in order to get some of this other equipment that I needed. So there's this setup as well. You've got my studio monitors, our iKey Audio M505 V2s, 5-inch studio monitors. They're excellent. They're awesome. The reviews compare them with monitors that are 3 and 4 times as expensive. However, and these ones I again came across really, really cheaply. If you can find the kind of deal that I did, I got both speakers for $180. They run $180 a piece normally. If you can find that kind of a deal, take it. iKey Audio, these are amazing products. They're not well known just yet, and their prices are pretty low. Their reviews are ecstatic, and I would give it a similar kind of review. Great sounding speakers. This guitar here is my Taylor 810 CE. If you know Taylor, this is the one of the higher end of their products, and Taylor is one of the best guitar makers in the world, especially acoustic guitars. This guitar did about half of the acoustic guitars on the CD. Believe it or not, I did half of the acoustic guitars on the CD on an electric guitar. And this is where it gets strange, and this is one of the strangest pieces I have. This is a Parkwood hybrid, and it's an electric guitar because it has electric guitar strings, has electric guitar pickups, but it also has an acoustic guitar pickup, and it's built to transduce the electric guitar strings as with an emulated acoustic guitar sound. It's called a hybrid guitar, which means it has both electric and acoustic sounds coming out of it, and it is a great guitar. I did all the electric guitars on this guitar, all the electric guitar sounds on the CD. I did half of the acoustic guitar sounds. I did all the spontaneous sounds that you hear in the moment. I did them on this guitar, mainly because even the acoustic sounds, I didn't need them to bleed through so much into this mic. So if I had to go back and change something, I could. I'd go back and correct something, I could. I'd go back and patch in a sound, over top of something, I could. And so this was a huge help, being that I could get really good acoustic sounds out of it. I put a lot of EQs on it. I worked through a Fishman Aura Spectrum, if you're familiar with that. I can show you it, it's right here, but it's all hooked up. I worked through that to get an even sweeter acoustic sound out of that electric guitar. And then when I played through the Taylor, I mic'd it, plus I went through the Fishman Aura Spectrum in here. I got all my electric guitar sounds out of a Pod XT Live. I've got it down here, you can't really see it. And then also a Line 6 M5 Stomp modeler, because there were some Line 6 sounds that weren't on the Pod XT Live because it's a little older model. So I had the M5 to get some of those newer sounds, newer reverbs, and some other effects that are awesome from that. And for my live rig, I also have a Fender volume pedal that I use. I'm making the switch to a Pod HD 500, and that'll be able to replace both the XT Live and the M5 soon. So this keyboard here is a Korg X3. This is a 17 or 18-year-old keyboard, and it still works great. And this keyboard, believe it or not, did all the piano sounds, did all the string sounds, the whirly sounds, the organ sounds, and a lot of the drum sounds on the CD. A 17-year-old keyboard did all of that, and it's a great keyboard. Korg makes awesome products and lasting products, as you can tell. These are all the sounds on it are sampled, so it's as if you're playing the actual instruments themselves, and you have all kinds of control over them as well. And then I used on the Pro Tools MP9 a few virtual instruments as well, and I even used my phone some to create some of the beats through GarageBand, through a program called Easy Beats, through another program called I forget the name of it. It's an IK multimedia program that I used to create some of the beats that you'll hear on the CD. So I hope you enjoy all this. Now I played my own bass guitar, which is a Fender J bass. I don't have it with me. I also played through a Fender bass amp, BXR 100, and it's an old amp. Gives me a great tone. I don't like a real slappy tone on my bass. I like a real soft, sort of muted bass sound, and so that gave me a perfect tone for that. I didn't have to mess with it a whole lot. I didn't have to throw too much on it after that. And in the Pro Tools program, of course, you're throwing all kinds of stuff at all these sounds, but the clearer and the purer the sound that you start with, the better it is. I hope you enjoyed this session of Backstage Pass. It got a little techie, and but you know what, God did all his awesome work through this stuff, and he does work through us as vessels, and he can work through equipment, and I believe he led me to get some of this equipment. He helped me to get some of it cheaply. I would love to upgrade some of it someday, but he'll lead me in all that as well, I'm sure. Thank you for it. Like me on Facebook.com/JaredSteppMusic. Come to the concert, buy the music, and God bless you.